Hey, that's right. I remember. But yeah, any clue? Because I don't know.
Since you left social
It's
media?
been, yeah.
Well, you did it in stages, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking when I deleted TikTok, that my TikTok account,
I think that was the most recent
whenever
one.
that
It's
was.
probably been about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe.
Okay, so
For the record, I have not been keeping
because I was
track.
thinking about uh, if someone were going to pitch real life meeting people in real life as though it was a social media app, how much people would not want to do it. Oh, it's great. You're in a place with another person. They can smell you. You can smell them. You can't mute anything. You can't turn your camera off. You have to be there with them, and if they want to, they can punch you like as hard as they can.
So, Frat Party, the
Um,
social media app.
and it's like, no, I don't want that. But that's what talking to someone in real life actually is. I've got this great new app. It's called Bus. And what it is that you're thrown into like this chat room with a whole bunch of people, and you can't really control anything they do. It's not really moderated that well. There's a guy who'll yell every once in a while if something's happening. But yeah, then
And
once
you
and
might get COVID.
you sign exactly you sign up for a certain time. When that time is up, if everything's gone right, you'll be in a different place that you wanted to be at, or close to a place you wanted to be at.
So, what
If
brought
it
this up?
goes
Why reality, the social media app?
well, here's the thing. There are people that I met when I was on social media that I like a lot, and it's like, I like these people, and now I don't see them because I only saw them on social media. And then I was like, okay, would these people be people that I would want to hang out with in real life, right? Or is the buffer that social media causes makes me want to hang out with people more than I want to hang out with them in real life? Like you, Ben Lawrence, obviously, the acid test passed. I've hung out with you in real life many
Many
times,
times.
and it's worked out pretty well
Right.
during those times. And so this us working together over Zoom is not the best case scenario. It's what we've settled for due to
Right.
distance
Right.
and sort of COVID. I don't know. I think that you and I probably would during the height of COVID. You and I probably would have come up with a GudeLaurance thing for Spin the Bottle if it were still on at the
Right.
time,
If
where
COVID
we
only
wouldn't have,
affected us
where we
and
would have
not.
we would have done some sort of social distancing COVID
Yeah.
thing, and it would have been
Right.
fine and all that. But and then I was thinking about how much more I enjoy doing role playing in person rather than over. So there are things that I appreciate and like about in person stuff over Zoom stuff, but then there's also stuff. Especially, this is the thing I was thinking about: watching clips of people doing stuff. Watching people that I don't necessarily like. Like those fights, the fights that you would see on public freakout and stuff on Reddit, right?
Yeah.
There, the distance of social media, the fact that I am not actually engaging with the people who are having the fight is good. So I don't know. Oh, I will say this. I went to this place called Chappie's, which is a restaurant. And at the restaurant, there were TVs, like a sports bar kind of thing.
And they
But
only played the movie Chappie.
instead, well, very close. Oh, by the way, let's do this, Ben. Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1, clap. Oh man, this is gonna be fun.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I know you've been glitching out.
yeah,
So
you as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So so
They're onto us, Paul.
Chappies,
They've tapped into the line and they're monitoring us.
exactly. Congratulations, whoever got that gig is all I have to say. Um, but Chappie's is a restaurant, an Americana kind of restaurant. Although they also have pasta. They used to be soda, and soap pasta rebranded to Chappie's, and now they have hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff. It's good. I like the food, but they have TVs like a sports bar might. But instead of sports, they're playing fail blog stuff. Just people eating it on skateboards, people backing their cars into fences. It's just a whole bunch of that sort of thing. And I gotta say,
This is terrible.
they finger on the pulse because it was just me and banging out, and eventually it's just me and Betty, both of us watching these people fall off of things. It was great. Good bonding moment.
So Steven's watching, and he texted me about the restaurant only playing Chappie. He says they only play Chappie, and the different screens aren't synced up. For the right person, it'd be heaven. And for you at home, you can see how long the delay is.
Yeah. Oh, geez. I haven't seen Chappie yet. I haven't seen it.
That's not the sequel to District 9, is it? I've something in my eye. Oh, it's my finger.
It's done by the same
Neil
group
Blomkamp
of people, I think. But yep. And Charlo Carpley or whatever his name is. But also you got Die Antwoord as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. They are in that. Boy, every once in a while, late at night, I fall down a DeAntwoord rabbit hole on YouTube, and I'm fascinated.
Oh yeah, yeah. Have you seen any of the earlier stuff before they were DeAntwoord?
I think I have, like before Ninja was all tatted up and stuff.
Yeah, they tried a couple of things before they hit on.
Oh my god.
On that, and that worked really well. That's where they're at now.
Yeah.
And God love them. Those crazy South Africans.
Yeah. It's
Edward.
Hey, Edward, it's been a couple weeks. He does not look pleased.
Yep. Yeah, he was sleeping, and I woke him up to do that. So
you may notice that.
Yeah, in fact, let's see. Oh. It's a dog bed with Edward in it. He's in the bucket. Where's Edward? Where's Edward? Oh, there he is. There he is. That's what I do while I'm working a lot.
You lean down and just peck his head.
I lean down, and first I say, "Where's Edward?" And then he puts his head out of the blankets, and I say, "There he is!" And then I, like that. I think corporate America would be better if everyone had a dog on their lap.
Even the people who don't like dogs.
Especially the people who don't like dogs.
Because they'll come around.
Exactly.
So you may have noticed that I look different today. It's actually a lot brighter in here in the theater, where normally it's a dark hole. The building owner decided to remove our fire escape door and install a window. And right now there's no way to cover the window. I actually have the curtains open because I was cleaning the stage here. But I'm going to show you what this window looks like. And Paul, you'll like this.
I'm very excited.
There's a giant. It's blown out, so you can't really tell. But that's just a window now.
That is incredible.
And look, that is my set for I Love This Movie that we're going to be live streaming on Sunday.
Yeah, I love this movie, Ben. Tell me about it.
I Love This Movie is an essay series by Mr. Cole Hornaday. It originally started as a series of Facebook posts, and Steven liked them so much he requested we turn it into a live stream event for Annex Theater. Yes. Yeah, and now Paul is completely frozen.
Nice.
Oh, and he's coming back. Nope. And now
Very
you're
cool.
Hey, okay.
You're completely frozen. This is
Yeah.
this is the
This whole
is the
courtroom's
crazy
completely
thing.
frozen.
Whenever exactly. Whenever you freeze, I also freeze.
All right, we're gonna do the clap test, but I'm
great.
gonna.
I don't know.
We're gonna do the clap test again, but I'm gonna start it this time just so the viewers at home can see how much of a delay we're dealing with here. It's gonna be 3, 2, 1,
we
clap.
gotta clap. Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, clap. That was ridiculous. Wasn't it? It was like
I clapped right at the same time as you.
all right.
On my
I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna start a stopwatch. So instead of clapping, I'm gonna snap. So I'm gonna go so I can use this. So I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1, snap, and you clap. All right.
And I'm gonna clap on the snap. Okay. Yeah.
3, 2, 1, clap. Four seconds.
Wow. 4 seconds.
Almost 5 seconds.
That's
4.45 seconds.
It shows how in sync we actually are that we can still hold a conversation with that much of a gap.
It's almost like having a conversation with a YouTube delay already built in.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I want to say that when NASA gets transmissions from inside the solar system, I think maybe towards Mars, I think it's Mars, it's like it has been a 6-hour delay in the past, depending on when they do it.
I've been watching this TV show on Apple TV Plus called For All Mankind. It's a what if based on whether or not the Russians are based on what, if the Russians beat the US to the moon. And now we're in season 3 and we're going to Mars. And I think in this show, it's in show physics, it's an 8-minute delay transmission between Mars and the Earth.
What year are they going to Mars in
1995. In show, the Mars mission happened in 95.
There was a book. I don't know if you've read it. I think I've recommended it to you before. I couldn't read it because it made me just too sad. It was called A Case for Mars. That was written about how we could go to Mars using the technology that we had at the time the book was written, and how we should have already gone there. And the book was written, I think, in the early 2000s, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's been at least a decade since the book was written, and still nothing. So, sad. Speaking of Apple TV, I am watching C.
Oh yeah, Jason Momoa and I think Dave Bautista is in the second season.
Yep. Did you watch it?
I have not seen it, but it is on my list of things to check out.
It was one of the shows on my this could be good, but I'm not going to watch it because I don't want to be disappointed.
Right.
Things. As you and I are speaking, right? I'm thinking about, can't wait to go upstairs and watch finish the episode of C that I'm watching. It's one of those shows.
Oh, okay.
Like Better Call Saul, there's a new episode out.
Yes, there is.
And I am not interested yet in watching the new episode of Better Call Saul because I want to work through the episodes of C that I haven't seen yet.
Copy that. I think I mentioned last week I watched The Bear. I finished it in like 2 sittings, which is unusual for me, and I've picked back up The Orville.
And when I say we, I mean Jennifer and I have just started watching the Orville. It's good.
Yeah, it's funny
It's a
because
good
like
show.
when I say picked it back up, it makes it sound like I was in the middle of like a season. No, I watched the pilot like 3 weeks ago and I put it away. But now, so last night I watched episode 2. But I'll keep going because
so
actually a lot of people that I know are like, wow, Orville's just knocking it out of the park these days. So yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, we haven't seen that much past the episodes that you've seen, so
Yeah,
we're kind of right there. Yeah, I don't want to say too much about it, but it was good what we saw.
right.
Man, we could let's call this episode Adventures in Delay or something like that. Because it really is a different sort of communication that you got to get used to.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not as bad as say when you're having when like scientists were having a conversation with somebody who was in lunar orbit. I'm bringing this back home. My father served in Saudi Arabia in the early '90s. And I remember once when I was talking to him on the phone, there was that satellite delay. And it was the hardest thing to have a conversation because we were constantly talking over each other. And then like there would be these long pauses.
I think that the best way to do it is you have sort of like, you know how when people were on walkie-talkies and they would say over,
Yeah.
and you would wait until they say over, and then you would reply, "Ooh, Ben, let's try that. I'm going to start doing that. I will say over when I'm done." Over.
That's terrible. That reminds me of when I was in college and I chatted with a friend of mine in Bellingham. And this was before like internet chat was like a thing. And so the way we knew when each other was done speaking, we decided to have a double period, and that's how we knew we were done. Over.
A double period sounds like something that I hold on, wait. I'm gonna try to get. No, I guess I'm not gonna get anything out of that. Over.
Oh God. Now I'm thinking too much about like walkie-talkie speak and not like just like having a conversation. Over.
You know, when I was a kid, I had an actual book. I think I got it at a Scholastic book fair of trucker slang, and I wish I still had it because I would be using that all the time now. Over.
Breaker 19er, you got your ears on. If you want to smoke it good, buddy, try Channel 9. Over.
Hell yes, I love PBS. Smokey Bandit. Over.
God. So, yeah, I cleaned the theater. I actually mopped the stage. I don't know if Steven is still with us, but there was quite a bit of dust left over. They mopped when they left, but there was still a bunch of crap on the stage. So I moved everything, mopped, and now it has that fresh mopped look where all you can see on stage are footprints. Over.
It's funny because you used the word over when you were talking about what you had just been mopping. And for those of you listening at home, I did almost start talking, but I kind of pulled it out at the very last minute. Pulled it out at the very last minute.
Walkie-talkie
like
faux pas.
I'm kidding. Over.
No, not going to touch that one. Over.
That's what she said. Over.
Hey.
Oh my God. Hold on. What? She didn't say that. That's the lie. Over.
Oh gosh. What else is new? What's the weather like there? It's getting warmer over here. Over.
It's been in the 90s. Over.
Have you left your house? Over?
Have I left my house recently? I do go on shopping trips, like in the car, which is, I suppose, something. Tomorrow is Jennifer's birthday. We're recording this on a Friday. Her birthday is on Saturday, and we are going to be going to St. Louis to go to a Chinese restaurant so that she can have Peking duck. Over.
Peking duck. I had that once, actually, in China. I think that's the only time I've ever had it, and I did not feel very good that day when we had the Peking duck, which was unfortunate. But that was the only time I ever felt sick in my travels in and around China. Over.
Did you feel sick before you ate the Peking duck, or was it after
Yeah.
you ate the Peking duck? Over.
Before I had taken a nap and I woke up with a bit of a stomach ache, and so I tried to stomach the Peking duck, and I was able to eat some of it. Sadly, a member of our tour group was like, I think he may have learned his lesson. He was actually giving me crap for like not finishing my meal. But this poor gentleman, who's probably in his like late 60s, early 70s, not the next day, maybe the day after, fell very, very ill and was unseen for the rest of the tour. Like his wife would show up for dinners and stuff and say that he was still in the hotel room. But yeah, it was unfortunate. And also, Steven has been texting the show number, but I haven't been paying attention. Steven, I am paying attention to it now.
Did you ever see the man after he fell ill? Over.
Yes, because we had to walk between the tour bus and the cruise ship, and so he would be walking with assistance from the stewards. Over.
Okay, that's good. I thought perhaps that you had witnessed a murder. Over.
I thought maybe too. So one of the comments Steven has for the show is he says, "What are the nuances of the tone of general hostility in this podcast? Is Paul periodically mentioning what he's thinking about or what he'd rather be doing?" Over.
I
can't wait for the podcast to be over. That way I'll go up and watch TV.
The only thing I can say is that this is normal, conversational fare for me in any situation, and most likely I've offended several dinner guests and people inviting me into their homes now that Steven mentions it. Over.
Yeah. Steven says, the Orville is good trek. They handle time travel particularly well. Haven't gotten to that part. He thanked me for cleaning the stage. And I think that's it. You should look into Starlink, Paul. Over.
Steven, you've scooped me. What is Starlink and how can I look into it? Over.
Starlink is the SpaceX web of satellites, is it not? Over. I think I'm going to keep going. I think he's recommending Starlink for for the internet troubles that we are currently experiencing.
Ah, yes. Well, that is obviously something to think about. But I also do like the new form of communication that we've worked out in this. Obviously, if there were a longer lag, we would do it as maybe Civil War letters from some sort of documentary style. Is it Ken Burns? I think it's Ken Burns. Over.
we have a voicemail to the phone number, the show phone number, and I'm going to play it, but I have to add a new thing. I have to reroute some audio. So keep talking. Over.
Did this voicemail just come in right now? In which case it is probably Steven, which will be nice because it will be Steven on an even greater delay than the two of us. Over?
No, it is a spam voicemail.
Oh, that's too bad. But I would love to hear it. Over.
All right. Yeah, it's here, I gotta quickly add it. So sources, I'll call this Chrome Audio.
For those of you who missed this, at one point in time, we had people who were calling us complaining because a redialer was using our number to spam people, which is too bad. That is true. Over.
Yeah. All right. And it's that. All right. This may or may not work. Let's. Oh, but you won't be able to hear it. Hang on. I'm going to make it so you can hear it.
Okay. Can't wait.
Buttons. So many buttons to push. This is riveting podcast audio. Be just making noises as I am walking through the steps to make sure Paul can hear this. All right, here we go.
Very excited.
My name is Andrea Martin. This is a notification call from our Department of Tax Debt and Financial Settlement Services. There are new programs that can help you reduce or eliminate your debt completely. It is possible that your tax debt can now be considered temporarily non-collectible. You can call me back at my personal desk, 833-577-2631.
Wow, what a French person that is.
Oh, there's another one. We got two of these. Hang on.
Oh, hey.
My name is Danny Baker. This is a notification call from our Department of Tax Debt and Financial Settlement Services. There are new programs that can help you reduce or eliminate your debt completely. It is possible that your tax debt can now be considered temporarily non-collectible. You can call me back at my personal desk, 833-312-3139.
Over.
Different number. So the interesting thing is that the second voice, which had an American accent, was much more readily discernible as being a computerized cadence.
Yeah.
Like something a little bit off. And so I'm wondering if having a different accent is a actual spoofers and spoofers.
I don't know. It might be yeah, maybe
Ben
it's
is frozen.
Oh, Paul was frozen. Now he's not. Fixing some things here. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting question. Maybe our ears just aren't attuned enough to the French dialect that we cannot identify robotic voices. Over.
Yes. Robotic French people are the wave of the future, Ben. The new wave of the future. Over.
Yeah. So those are the only voicemails we have. Steven asks if it's temporarily uncollectible. That's the services they're offering. I wonder how much. This is me commenting. I wonder how much fees you incur by having your debt temporarily uncollectible. Over.
Yeah, I feel as though temporary uncollectible does not sound super. It sounds like I could say that my debt is temporary uncollectible until people stop. I don't have any. This is the other thing, is I don't have any tax debt, and I think the podcast doesn't have any tax debt.
Podcast does not have tax debt. I at one point did have tax debt. I had a considerable amount of tax debt, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Ben, I had no idea.
The first year when I was freelancing, I did not know that as a sole proprietor, I did not know that I needed to pay my taxes on a quarterly basis. That kind of bites a lot of people who just walk into it without any knowledge of how to do it properly. And so when it came time to pay my taxes in April, I owed about $10,000, of which I did not have. So I had to work out a payment deal with the IRS to pay that down over time.
I don't think I've ever had $10,000
at once. Yeah, no,
at once.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock. I won't deny.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why people go to work for corporations a lot, is that some of that stuff is taken care of for you. Over.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to make that noise. That's weird. I just found out something. This is on the news. Paul gonna guess the news is not this segment. This is Ben's gonna guess the news.
Okay.
Ben, there is something that I personally took advantage of when I lived downtown, and then when I moved to Capitol Hill but still worked downtown, as an employee of Amazon.com, that employees of Amazon.com apparently are not going to be able to take advantage of anymore. Do you know what that is? Over.
What employees of Amazon.com are not going to be able to take advantage of anymore. I don't know, but I'll make a couple guesses. Are they getting rid of the free banana cart? Over.
Unknown.
Okay, so that's not it.
That is not what I'm talking about.
It was something that you took advantage of when you moved to Capitol Hill and still worked downtown. So was it, or do Amazonians now have to pay for their own bus passes?
I don't know about that, but that is not it. You're going down the right path, though.
Steven says pooping.
Ahead. Absolutely, Steven is correct. And Steven, can you tell Ben why? Over.
Amazon employees can no longer poop. That's what Steven says.
That's what he said. That's what he says. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Amazon employees are no longer allowed to be in Amazon facilities during the times when they are not working.
Oh, okay.
As an Amazon employee who lived in Capitol Hill but worked downtown, sometimes I would use my pass to go at my workstation, visit my desk, check my work email, but then also use the bathroom on the floor that I was on.
In case somebody was checking out while you were in the building on the security camera. Yeah, and you're frozen again. I'm probably frozen too.
Maybe I'm just that to my job, and any potential employers who are listening to this, I am more than happy to work for you.
I took advantage of that, but in a slightly different way. I had keys to Annex Theater, and so when I was downtown and I needed to poop, I would go to Annex Theater and do my business. And generally, there wasn't a show.
Sometimes I would too. I didn't have keys to the building. Sorry. That's just a joke. I never took a secret poop at Annex Theater. I promise. Over.
I walk past the old 1916 4th Avenue location all the time because I live down there now. And I walk past the where you used to live too, the Virginian. And yeah. I cannot figure out where the front door of Annex was on the block. They've completely redesigned the entire. So I know you couldn't hear me, but the stream couldn't hear me. I don't know where the door was to Annex on the sidewalk. I can't figure out exactly where the front door was because the building that's there now, they completely redesigned this. They put trees in the sidewalk where there weren't trees, and so yeah. It's unfortunate because I would love to just stand where the front door was, kind of like figure out where the stage, where the black box used to be. Steven says there are two, and sometimes only two, benefits of volunteering at Annex: pooping and using the phone number for a grocery loyalty discount. Steven, do you know I do that? Every time I go to QFC, I use Annex's phone number and plug it into the machine. Over.
Nice.
Annex has a crap ton of rewards because I buy groceries almost every day on Annex's phone number. Over.
It's worth it, I think. I did not take advantage of either of those things when I was volunteering for Annex because we were itinerant at that time. And
yeah.
So I probably used the bathroom at somebody's house, though, during that time. So close enough.
Drooping acres, or as Paul likes to call it, pooping acres. Over.
Hey, hold on. Zing, zing, zing. Nice. So yeah, the thing that I would say at this point in time is that to answer a question you asked a long time ago, Edwardsville, Illinois is hotter now than I remember it being when I was a kid. It has been in the 90s. It's hit 100 a couple of times, but super hot. And I stay inside almost all the time, and I have air conditioning. So
I hear that the Midwest is going through a big heat wave right now. Fortunately, we are not. Like this time last year, we were underneath the heat dome, and it was probably like 15 to 20 degrees hotter than it is right now. And right now it's like 75.
So I feel as though the next thing that we can talk about is the Hubble Space Telescope has been superseded by I believe it's James Webb Space Telescope. Over. Correct.
James Webb. I don't know if Space Telescope is the official part of the name or what. I know it's it's a 4-letter acronym, the JW something something. Let's just say it's the Space Telescope. Over.
But I saw a side-by-side comparison, and it really is much clearer, which is a lot of fun. I love space. I plan on never leaving Earth. Over.
It is the James Webb Space Telescope. And it's also, like, I don't know, you probably remember when they first launched the Hubble, there were so many issues with it, and the space shuttle had to go up and fix it. And it's been remarkably smooth from an outsider's perspective how this deployment has gone. Over.
Remarkably smooth from an outsider's perspective, the Ben Lawrence story. Over.
Steven sent us a tweet from @MetMattTaylor. Record heat and possibly the first 40 degrees Celsius day for the UK. He says, I never thought this would be possible so soon. Big impacts to health, travel, and power possible. 40 degrees Celsius. I'm not even going to guess. I'm going to look it up. Unless, Paul, you know what 40 degrees Celsius is. It is.
No, I will say this, though. There is a song, Beds Are Burning, from Australia.
How can we say when the beds are burning?
Midnight Oil. They're Australian, I believe. And it says something about the desert lives and breathes at 45 degrees. And at the time, I thought that was cold for a desert. And my dad was like, well, yeah, at night the desert gets cold. But then I realized it was Celsius, and it was actually hot. Yeah. So how much is 40 degrees Celsius, Ben? Over?
104 Fahrenheit. Over.
Woo!
Which I think that's
pretty warm for the UK. Over.
It is pretty warm for the UK. It's about as hot as it got here last year. And I think London is sort of in the same boat as the Northwest, where they don't have the air-conditioned infrastructure that many traditionally hot places have. So it is a big problem. Over.
Yes. London and Seattle share a lot of weather stuff. When I was when I was visiting Nice, the people that I met at Nice were having a conversation about how when they visit the United States, they only go to San Francisco because it has the closest weather that they're used to, and everything else is horrible. And there was a British person there who had said that they like visiting Seattle because it's similar as well.
That is interesting because I like going places where the weather is not like home, just to experience what the weather's like when when it's not like 65 degrees and raining. Over.
I mean, it was nice when I went to Santa Fe. The altitude wasn't good, but the just how everything was flat and clear and all that was pretty interesting. Over.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like visiting my family in Austin just because it's an interesting experience walking out of a cold ass movie theater, at 10 o'clock at night and into an 85-degree nighttime. Over.
What part of your family lives in Austin? Over.
My mom's side. But most of them, a lot of them have moved out. So now it's just my aunt and a couple of her kids live in Austin. One of my uncles lives just outside of Austin. Over.
The only reason I say that is, of course, from the Patton Oswalt, Austin being a magical place where people don't understand that you can't just sing for a sandwich or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I've never been to Austin. So I've often wondered what it was like as a magical sort of place. I didn't realize that you most likely have visited there several times. Over.
I have visited there several times. In fact, one of the times I was there, my uncle-in-law, my aunt's husband, we went to see Los Lobos at Austin City Limits, and there is actually a crane shot of one of the songs that you can find on YouTube, and if you know what I look like, you can spot me in the crowd. Over.
There is a Beck song, and I'm gonna probably get the pronunciation wrong, but I believe it's Que Ordoguero, which I believe means "What's up, white boy?" And it is great. It is one of my new favorite Beck songs, and older album, I believe. But yeah, I highly recommend it. Over.
Okay, I don't know that song. I have a couple of his old albums, but it's interesting because now, for me, your audio and video are totally out of sync. Oh, maybe just snapped back. Let me hear you say something. Over.
Let's see. I'm gonna do twiddly fingers, and I put my mouth very close to the things that you can see me when I'm talking.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Give it
now
away,
you're back.
give it away, give it away.
Give it away now.
Hey, let's not. Yeah.
There was a yeah. Well,
Yes.
we can't afford that song. But speaking of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Conan O'Brien had a drum battle between the Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer Chad White
Will Ferrell
and Will Ferrell,
yeah.
because they look remarkably similar.
Yeah.
And I love that little bit because, I love it because I feel bad for Chad because he, at the end of each fill that he does, he tries to do something fancy with the drumsticks and fails every time and drops them. And I'm just like, oh, dude.
I saw a clip of these two young girls and this old dude playing a Tool song. And the older dude was the drummer, and he was really good. And then as I watch him, like, wait a second, that's the drummer from Tool. So it's, that's why he's so good at it. Over.
Oh, his name is Chad Smith, not Chad White. I got that wrong. Over.
Did you acknowledge my Tool story? Over.
No, I was looking up what Chad Smith's name was. Over. What's your tool story, Paul?
All right, I will repeat it. I was watching a clip of covers of Tool songs, and one cover was these two younger girls and then this older dude, and it was really good, especially the drums. And then as I'm watching, I'm like, oh wait, the old dude is the drummer from Tool. Over.
I did. My brain did absorb that, but I could not bring it out when called upon. Over.
Nice. That is what happens with me and Jennifer all the time. I don't have hearing loss, but I will miss everything she says, and I'm like, what was that? And she'll exasperatedly try to recreate what she said, and as soon as she says like the first 5 words, I'm like, oh, I know what you're talking about. Over.
Yeah, it's an issue. It's the same thing that happened mostly when I was in high school, where I would read something and my eyes would go across the words, but they wouldn't get into my brain. So then I would have to reread it, and it was like reading. It was like I don't want to say deja vu, but my brain did register what I was reading. It was for whatever reason, it just wasn't solidifying in there. There was no comprehension for some reason. I think disinterest led a large part of that. Over.
Do you have the experience where you're watching a television program or listening to a podcast, and there's a certain part of it that you just don't get, and so you rewind to that part, and it, because you don't have like the exact spot, you're a little bit ahead of the spot that you missed, and right when it gets to the spot that you missed, you again miss the spot that you missed the first time. Over.
Yeah, I think that's happened a fair amount of time. Over.
It happens to me constantly. Over. I have a bad attention span. Over. I keep saying over because I keep talking over.
We can speak like telegrams. We can go, that happens to me a lot. Stop.
Exactly. Over. Stop.
And of course I couldn't come up with anything to say. Yeah, my apartment is getting professionally cleaned tomorrow. It was a perk that I got when I re-signed my lease at my apartment. So a company is coming to my place tomorrow, and they're going to clean it. I don't know when they're coming. I just know it's going to be tomorrow. I don't even know if I have to be home for this. Over.
If you don't mind me asking, I think I've asked you this before, how are you paying your apartment and how many bedrooms is it? Over.
I think I know what you asked, but you glitched out there for a minute. But I'm not going to tell you exactly how much my rent is, but it's about what is it? It's about 475 square feet, maybe. And so it's a studio. And I believe I am paying below market rate for where I live.
Okay. Let me put it another way. How much is the average studio apartment in Seattle, Washington right now?
I think you're looking at $1,500 a month.
Okay.
Maybe more now. I keep hearing these horror stories of all these rents going up.
You've been to my house in Evansville.
Yes, I have.
The house right now is rented for $850 a month.
Yeah.
Jennifer wants to move because the house is not big enough for us and the child. I am scared to move at this point just because I'm afraid that the instant I move, we're going to have to move somewhere else, like to another place. And so that fear is going to stick with me forever, I think.
Right. Yeah, until you actually have to move to another place due to work.
Right, and that's the thing. That's why I don't want to move unless I'm forced to, because then, you know, I will be okay with it. But we'll see what happens.
Steven says the average rent in Seattle the average rent in Seattle is $2,190. I don't. Is that for a 1-bedroom, Steven? That sounds like a lot for a studio. I saw a headline on Reddit the other day that said the average rent for whatever apartment, I don't even know what the average apartment is, reached $5,000 in Manhattan like this last month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no reason to move to a big city anymore. Over.
Wow. Rent.com says $24.76 for a 1-bedroom. Over.
Wow, that is crazy.
So yeah,
and
so
I
am. I'm paying less than $1,500 for a studio, but I do pay for parking, so that adds a bit.
Yeah, that is something. When we were looking at different places, we put in our rent amount, and for a while, the only thing that came up were parking spaces. And I'm like, oh, I guess they're showing that you're parking at the. Oh no, it's just for the. Yeah,
they want $800 a month for a parking spot. Over.
Yeah, exactly. I really think that as I don't know, it's one of those situations of the pandemic maybe didn't last long enough to do wide sweeping cultural change. We have people who are like, come on, let's get everybody back in the office, whatever. But if things continue to go this way, I think that there will be a lot more, telework and then suburban stuff. But I feel, and it's good that we have Steven on because he can, crazy check me on this. Am I saying something that's actual, or am I just, paranoid? Or I feel as though one of the reasons why people in like the government and big business and stuff don't want to make us a permanent work from home situation is because they're afraid of an attack on the infrastructure that helps make the tools that we use for telework possible. Over.
Yeah, I mean I guess that's a real fear because that way you won't be able to make as much money as business. Steven is on. There's, I guess, one final comment about rent in Seattle. An apartment in my complex listed for $3,900, and you needed a household income of 3 times the annual. So it's $140,000 a year minimum in household income to move into Steven's apartment, which I believe was just listed on like the National Historic Registry.
Wow.
Over.
Wait, so 140,000 households. So you could have two people, both of them making
$70,000,
70,000. But that's 3 times the average.
3 times the annual. 3 times the annual.
Three. Wait, hold on. What does 3 times the annual mean? I guess I've got that confused.
So you're paying $3,900 a month times 12 months. So you're looking at $46,800.
Oh,
times 3.
Okay, so you have to have the amount that you are making. Only a third of that should be going to the rent that you're paying, and they're doing that. So just in case. Okay, I'm with you. Yeah.
That's what that means.
Thank you. Fuse for a second.
Steven also says it's one of the many benefits that Elon Musk is bringing us. We no longer have to live in cities. Live in a rural community. Produce your own power with solar and network with Starlink. So look up Starlink and get your Starlink email address claimed before it's taken. Over.
Yeah.
Like everybody did with Gmail.
That makes sense. But yeah, Starlink, and then solar stuff. That's the other thing is, of course, if we move away from the internet, for streaming movies and things like that, or all of that stuff, the idea of living in a like Steven's saying with the Starlink thing, the idea of living in a cabin, all of a sudden makes more sense. The only thing that I think that we would need to round it all out is hover vehicle capability, where you don't need a road to have a smooth ride. Once that happens, boom.
You got a nice little cabin by a creek, and you just take your hover car over to the landing pad. Nobody knows where you are because you're in the middle of the woods.
To the drop zone where they drop all your food from the sky, or whatever.
From your Amazon drones.
Basically, yeah, like living in outer space, except you don't have to go to another planet. You have all that stuff on Earth. You have I mean, this is, I think, and Stephen backed me up on this. This is kind of the dream that style of living is possible for terrestrial folk at this time.
Live on Mars, on Earth.
Exactly.
But there are trees.
That's not bad. Yeah.
And water. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm watching this, watching For All Mankind, and they have the Mars colony, and now there's two of them actually, and I'm like, I am not going to raise my hand for these missions. It does not interest me at all. Over.
Yeah, I don't like living anywhere where my air could be turned off. That's my.
Oh man, did you forget to pay your air?
Turned off all the time.
Did you forget to pay your air subscription this year? Did you hear that in the UK, BMW is coming out with a heated seat subscription for their new cars? So you have to pay a monthly subscription to maintain your heated seats in your brand new BMW.
Hate it. Hate it.
Yeah, when I was looking for an apartment, I went to this one place where they could remotely unlock the front door from the front desk. And I decided not to live there. I'm like, I don't want the front desk to be able to open up my door.
I understand that. I was, however, interested. It's crazy, how I'm like, there's no way that I would live in a big city. There is one thing that I kind of like, which is the hostel style tech thing, where you don't rent a house. You have the option of renting a bed in one of like 10 different places. You just show up there and all you have is your little backpack or whatever. That, I think, makes more sense for city living than having a house in a city, to me anyway.
Yeah, there are, that's starting. I saw a report on some house that is renting out sleeping pods, and it's for like a ridiculous amount. It was like $700 a month or something. But I don't know if you got to go to different ones. I think you just rented this one. Over.
$700 a month is not bad if you have multiples that you can go to. The service that I read about, this is a while back, but is kind of like Car2Go. You can rent a pod in, you pay your subscription fee, and then you can go to a pod in one of like 5 different cities, basically. Yeah. So it's you're renting and also your hotel and stuff like that. It's not necessarily bad. Again, this is one of those things of technically, in a cashless society, this could just be how people live. You know, they just assign you your pod and then you go to it. But that's not happening, Ben. We're not going to do that.
At least not today, but if it happens next week, we'll tell you about it on the GudeLaurance podcast.
And until then, Ben, keep it wrong, my friend.
Keep it wrong, Paul, and I will talk to you next week.
Over.